Nice to meet you.
You too, Professor. I hear you're going to teach us about the history of Taekwondo today?
That's right. So how about we start with something really shocking? Did you know that the father of North Korean Taekwondo was once a decorated general in South Korea? The very person who coined the name Taekwondo, in fact.
What? No way! How could that be? I thought Taekwondo was a unique Korean martial art deeply rooted in their history.
That's a common assumption, isn't it? But history, especially in a nation divided by ideology, is rarely that simple. The person I'm talking about is General Choi Hong-hee, a pivotal but controversial figure in the early history of Taekwondo. To understand it, we need to delve into his life. Choi Hong-hee was born in 1918 in what is now North Korea. He studied law in Japan and also learned karate there. After Korea's liberation, he became one of the founding members of the Republic of Korea Army. In fact, he played a leading role in establishing the 29th Infantry Division, and he called that unit the Taekwondo Division. And he himself created the name Taekwondo.
So he was a key figure in the South Korean military and played an important role in developing Taekwondo. But why did he go to North Korea?
This is where the story gets complicated. It's a point where the lines between personal ambition and political ideology blur. In the early days, many Taekwondo pioneers were former karate instructors, and the martial arts scene was very fragmented. Choi Hong-hee was instrumental in unifying these various styles under the name Taekwondo and in establishing the Korea Taekwondo Association.
So he was trying to unify Taekwondo, not divide it?
Exactly. But he was also a very stubborn person. He was often described as autocratic. His relationships with other martial arts figures, and even with the Park Chung-hee military government at the time, deteriorated. He believed his vision for Taekwondo was the only correct one. This caused significant friction within the South Korean Taekwondo community. In 1966, Choi Hong-hee founded the International Taekwondo Federation, ITF, to promote Taekwondo worldwide. However, the Korea Taekwondo Association in South Korea, which was closely linked to the government, saw the ITF as a rival organization. These tensions escalated, and eventually, in 1972, he sought asylum in Canada, ostensibly to oppose the Yushin dictatorship.
So he defected for political reasons?
That was the official reason. But some speculate there were other factors, including financial irregularities during his time as an ambassador. In any case, his move to Canada became a major turning point. From there, he continued to promote ITF Taekwondo globally, and ironically, it gained significant popularity in North America.
But how did he end up in North Korea?
This is the most controversial part. From the late 1970s, Choi Hong-hee began close exchanges with North Korea. He believed that Taekwondo, as a Korean martial art, should be taught to all Koreans, transcending political ideologies. He even sent his son to Pyongyang to help train North Korean instructors.
So there was no Taekwondo in North Korea before him, and he brought it there? I thought Taekwondo, like Korean traditional wrestling, Serum, was a traditional martial art passed down from ancient times, and that it would have always been in North Korea.
That's a common misconception. At that time, North Korea primarily practiced a karate-based combat sport called Kyeoksul. The Taekwondo we know was formed after the Korean War, influenced by various martial arts. It's said that Choi Hong-hee, along with his students, went to North Korea and proved the effectiveness of Taekwondo by defeating Kyeoksul instructors, paving the way for Taekwondo to take root in North Korea, pushing out Kyeoksul. His actions caused a huge stir. In South Korea, due to the intense ideological confrontation with the North, anyone practicing ITF Taekwondo or associated with Choi Hong-hee had to hide. Some even burned their black belt certificates or related documents out of fear of persecution. They ended up in a situation similar to early Christians who faced persecution. Just as they formed underground churches, ITF Taekwondo practitioners in Korea had to continue their training in secret.
That's a really sad story. So he was erased from South Korean Taekwondo history, but became the founder in North Korea.
Exactly. General Choi Hong-hee's journey from a South Korean general and the namer of Taekwondo to the founder of North Korean Taekwondo clearly shows how individuals and even cultural elements can become casualties of ideology. Ideology can victimize many, but at the same time it can also create opportunities for others. Choi Hong-hee's case is a prime example. In South Korea, the World Taekwondo Federation, WT, rapidly grew with full government support, even becoming an Olympic sport. The practical history of Taekwondo in South Korea really starts from the founding of Kukkiwon in 1972, and the history before that effectively becomes prehistory.
So is it fair to say that WT intentionally downplayed or denied Choi Hong-hee's achievements?
You could say that. In the midst of ideological confrontation, South Korean Taekwondo sought to solidify its own domain by emphasizing its quote, tradition and legitimacy. The unique forms and kicks of WT Taekwondo, different from karate, are part of that effort. On the other hand, Choi Hong-hee's ITF Taekwondo was branded as North Korean Taekwondo in the South, and its very existence was largely denied.
I get it. So one person and the martial art he created received completely different evaluations because of ideology.
Right. Choi Hong-hee claimed he dreamed of the reunification of the two Koreas through Taekwondo, but reality proved otherwise. He died in Pyongyang, North Korea in 2002, and North Korea lauded him as a patriot and interred him in the Patriotic Martyrs Cemetery. He even named Jung Eung of North Korea as his successor for the ITF, which further strengthened the North Korean influence within the ITF.
That's really tragic. So in the end, he became a tool of ideological conflict, regardless of his personal intentions.
Exactly. Choi Hong-hee once said, "The reason I frequently visited North Korea, even being called a commie, was not because I loved North Korea more than South Korea, but to realize my dream of disseminating proper Taekwondo to socialist and third world countries through North Korea." He believed martial arts should transcend political ideology, but the unique situation of the Korean Peninsula during the Cold War crushed his ideals. Of course, his ambition to be the founder of Taekwondo also played a significant role. What's interesting is that the exchange between North and South Korean Taekwondo hasn't been completely severed, to the point where there's a saying, "When Taekwondo unifies, the Korean Peninsula will unify." However, Choi Hong-hee's ITF Taekwondo still remains just one style, not treated as equal to the World Taekwondo Federation, WT.
So is there any possibility that North and South Korean Taekwondo could unite someday?
It won't be easy. History isn't just about finding origins. It's about explaining change and disjunction. Taekwondo isn't a traditional martial art passed down from ancient times, but a Korean martial art created after the Korean War, blending various influences. And in that process, it took different paths according to ideology. Choi Hong-hee's ITF and WT now have their own distinct identities and histories. Simply combining them could overlook all this complex history and ideological conflict.
Hearing you talk, Professor, it makes Taekwondo feel new to me. Not just a collection of techniques, but something that truly embodies the pain and ideological conflicts of modern Korean history.
That's right. Taekwondo is more than just a sport or martial art. It's a living testament to the divided history of the Korean Peninsula. The armistice between North and South Korea means they aren't fighting, but it was more like, should we take a break, while still holding knives to each other's throats. The Cold War is still ongoing in Korea,